Look at it. Right now, somewhere above your head, 900 million miles away. The most beautiful object in the solar system hangs in perfect silence. Its rings catch the light of a distant sun and scatter it into gold. From Earth, through a backyard telescope, Saturn looks like it was painted by hand. A jewel, a gift. The kind of thing you point at and say, "That's why I believe in something bigger than us." But here is what the beauty is hiding. Saturn has over 140 moons. 140 worlds of ice and rock, orbiting peacefully in the dark, and Saturn is killing them. Not all at once, not violently, not in a way that would make the news. Slowly, methodically, the way a spider wraps a fly with patience, with precision, with the cold certainty that the outcome was never in question. Some of these moons have already been destroyed. What you see as Saturn's glorious rings, that is not decoration, that is a graveyard, and the killing is not over. To understand what Saturn is doing to its moons, you need to understand one of the most brutal laws in astrophysics. It is called the Roche limit. Every large body in space, a planet, a star, a black hole, generates a gravitational field, a tidal force, an invisible hand that reaches out in all directions and pulls. Now, imagine a small moon orbiting close to a planet. The side of the moon that faces the planet feels a slightly stronger gravitational pull than the side that faces away. That difference, that tiny imbalance, creates stress. It stretches the moon. It pulls it apart from the inside, like hands grabbing each end of a piece of bread and slowly, relentlessly tearing. As long as the moon stays far enough away, its own gravity, the force holding it together, is stronger than the tidal stress trying to tear it apart. The moon survives, but cross inside a critical distance the Roche limit and the math changes. The planet's tidal force becomes stronger than the moon's self-gravity. And when that happens, the moon does not crack, it does not explode, it simply comes apart. Piece by piece, layer by layer, like a body dissolving in acid. Saturn's Roche limit extends roughly 140,000 kilometers from its center. Everything inside that boundary cannot survive as a solid world. Everything inside that boundary is already dead or dying. And when you look at Saturn's rings, those gleaming arcs of gold, you are looking at the remains of every moon that ever crossed that line. Not metaphorically, literally. The rings are the moons, shattered, ground down over millions of years, spread across 300,000 kilometers of frozen debris. Scientists had suspected this for decades. But in 2022, a team at MIT finally pieced together the full story. And it is not a story about rocks and gravity. It is a story about a murder so large, it reshaped an entire planet's appearance. The theory is called the death of Chrysalis. Chrysalis was a moon. A real moon, about the size of Iapetus, roughly 1,500 kilometers across. It orbited Saturn for billions of years in perfect stability. Then something went wrong. The gravitational interactions between Saturn's moons are complex, a slow, invisible chess game playing out over millions of years. At some point, the orbital dance between Chrysalis and the other large moons went out of tune. Chrysalis began to drift. Slowly, imperceptibly, its orbit decayed. It crossed the Roche limit, and Saturn ate it. In geological terms, the destruction was fast, perhaps only a few million years, a blink in cosmic time. Saturn's tidal forces stripped the outer layers first, then the mantle, then the core, trillions of fragments, ranging from house-sized boulders to grains of dust, spread into a flat disk around the planet. The rings of Saturn are, at most, 400 million years old. That sounds ancient to us. But the solar system is 4.5 billion years old. The rings are a recent wound. Saturn wore no rings for most of its life. What you see today is fresh wreckage. And here is the part that should keep you up at night. Chrysalis was not the first. The rings contain too much material to have come from a single moon. Scientists believe at least several mid-sized moons, each one a world, each one with its own surface and history, were consumed over billions of years. Every time you look at Saturn's rings, You are looking at a mass grave. And Saturn does not mourn. It decorates itself with what it kills. But here is the part that nobody tells you. The rings are not permanent. Right now, at this exact moment, Saturn's rings are falling. It is called ring rain. The ice particles in the rings are not stable. They carry an electric charge. Saturn's magnetic field interacts with that charge and slowly, continuously pulls the particles down. They follow the magnetic field lines like rain following a gutter, falling toward the planet's equator in a thin, constant drizzle of ice and dust. Cassini, the spacecraft that spent 13 years orbiting Saturn before NASA sent it to its death in 2017, measured the ring rain directly. The results were shocking. Saturn is losing anywhere from 400 to 2,800 kilograms of ring material every single second. Per second, that is the weight of a small car, falling into Saturn every second, forever. At that rate, scientists calculate that the rings will be completely gone in 100 million years. 100 million years sounds like forever, but it is not. The dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago. The rings of Saturn have been visible from Earth for less time than dinosaurs have been gone. In cosmic terms, you are witnessing the very end of the rings. You are watching a masterpiece being erased. And the tragedy is not just that the rings are dying, it is what they are becoming. That falling ice doesn't vanish. It enters Saturn's upper atmosphere as a drizzle of organic compounds, water, methane, carbon dioxide, and rains down into the planet itself. The rings are becoming part of Saturn. The planet is consuming the last remains of the moons it destroyed. Even in death, they cannot escape. But Saturn is not finished. You might think, the Roche limit is far from the planet. The remaining moons are safe. They orbit far beyond that line. You would be wrong, because Saturn is patient. And it has a more subtle weapon, tidal locking. Every large moon in the solar system is tidally locked, one face permanently pointed at its planet, the other permanently facing the void. Our own moon is the same, one side always lit, one side always dark. But tidal locking is not a stable state. It is the end result of a process, and that process is orbital decay. When a moon orbits below its planet's rotation speed, tidal friction acts like a brake. It slowly drains the moon's orbital energy and pulls it closer to the planet. The closer it gets, the stronger the tidal forces become. The stronger the tidal forces, the faster the decay. It is a death spiral, and 2 of Saturn's moons are already in it. The first is Janus, a small, irregular moon orbiting just outside the main rings. Janus is losing orbital energy right now. In a few 100 million years, it will cross the Roche limit and join the graveyard. The second is more personal. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, the only moon in the solar system with a thick atmosphere, a world with rivers, lakes, and weather where liquid methane falls like rain, where orange smog hangs over frozen dunes hundreds of meters tall. Titan is the closest thing to a living planet that we have found in our solar system, and it is moving away from Saturn at a rate of about 11 centimeters per year. This sounds like good news. It is not. Because Titan's escape is not linear, it is temporary. Orbital mechanics are not simple. The same gravitational resonances that are pushing Titan outward now have pushed other moons inward in the past. In the deep future, billions of years from now, the dance may reverse. Titan's orbit may decay. It may drift back inward, and if it crosses the Roche limit, Saturn will do to Titan what it did to Chrysalis. It will tear apart a world with rivers and methane rain and complex organic chemistry, a world that, by some calculations, might have the ingredients for life, and scatter it into a new ring system, more magnificent than the one we see today. A crown of death, built from the ruins of a world that could have been something. But the most disturbing story is not about the moons that will die. It is about the moon that is being tortured into life, Enceladus. From a distance, it looks innocent. A small, perfectly white sphere of ice, about 500 kilometers across. Clean, still, silent. But look at its south pole. There, cutting across the surface like wounds, are four long parallel fractures, tiger stripes, scientists call them. Each one approximately 130 kilometers long. Each one spewing enormous geysers of water vapor and ice particles hundreds of kilometers into space at nearly 1,500 kilometers per hour. Enceladus is bleeding into space, and the reason is Saturn's gravity. Enceladus orbits in a gravitational resonance with Dione, another of Saturn's moons. This resonance means Enceladus is periodically squeezed, compressed, and stretched over and over again in a rhythmic cycle, like a ball of dough being kneaded. This tidal flexing generates heat. That heat melts the ice from below. Beneath the frozen crust of Enceladus, beneath the silent white surface, there is a global ocean of warm, liquid salt water, kept liquid by the same force that is slowly tearing the moon apart. Saturn is both destroying Enceladus and keeping it alive. The geysers shooting from the South Pole carry with them something extraordinary. Cassini flew through these plumes and detected hydrogen gas, silica particles, complex organic molecules, exactly the chemical signature you would expect to find near hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor of Earth. The same kind of vents where, on our planet, life was born. Something might be living inside Enceladus. Not intelligence, not civilization, but life, microbial, simple, ancient life, sheltered inside an ocean that exists only because a gas giant 500 kilometers away is slowly pulling it apart. Life, sustained by the very force that is killing its world. This is not metaphor. This is Saturn's system, in miniature brutality and creation, death and birth, so intertwined that you cannot separate them. Saturn does not just kill its moons, it uses them. Stand back for a moment. Think about what you have just seen. Saturn, the most beautiful object in our solar system, is a machine. A slow, indifferent, magnificently patient machine, running a program it has been running for 4.5 billion years. It pulls moons apart and wears their remains as jewelry. It squeezes frozen worlds until they bleed oceans, and perhaps breed life into the void. It is erasing its own rings in a slow rain of dust that will be complete long after the last human has turned to fossil. And nobody, not the scientists, not the engineers, not the astronomers who have devoted their lives to this planet, can stop any of it. They can only watch, measure, write down the numbers. In the year 2017, we sent Cassini to its death rather than let it contaminate the moons it had spent 13 years studying. We were protecting them. We were being careful. We were acting like something that the universe is not merciful. Saturn is not merciful. Enceladus may hold life, and Saturn is tearing Enceladus apart. Titan may be the most Earth-like world ever found, and in the deep future, Saturn may devour it whole. This is the nature of the cosmos, not evil, not cruel, just indifferent, operating according to laws that were written before the first star was born, laws that do not contain the word exception. And here is what is most unsettling. Our own moon is slowly drifting away from Earth, about 3.8 centimeters per year. The tidal interaction between Earth and the moon is gradually transferring energy. One day, billions of years from now, the moon will reach its maximum distance, and then, slowly, over immense spans of time, tidal locking will reverse, and the moon will begin its long inward journey. We are not Saturn, but we have our own version of this story. Every system in the universe tends toward the same end. Orbits decay, moons fall, rings form and dissolve. Beauty is temporary. Even the things that look permanent, the things we point at and say, "That's why I believe in something bigger," are just slow disasters waiting for enough time to finish. Look at Saturn's rings while you can. In 100 million years, they will be gone. In a billion years, Enceladus will be gone. In the deep future, Titan may be gone. And long after the last human eye has closed and the last human thought has faded, Saturn will still be there, wearing new rings, made of new ruins, drifting silently through a dark it has always owned.